très longue, mais le résultat est très, très bon pour moi.
Well, it's a good result for me, but it's also good for our party as well. It's good for the Conservative movement in general.
I'm so honored to have received the support of the members of our party and the members of our caucus. Up on stage after the results were announced, every single member of our Conservative caucus talked about the importance now of coming together. We've got a great party in great shape. I'm very honored to have the opportunity to lead this movement that I believe in so strongly, and I want to thank all of you for your interest in this race, and I'm ready now for your questions.
Mr. Scheer, one of the big things you keep mentioning in your speeches is pulling federal funding from universities that don't meet your test of freedom of speech. How would that work, and how would that not essentially be a sort of values test on the federal level for universities?
I think freedom of speech is a fundamental Canadian principle. It's there in the Charter. I point out that the Liberals have even acknowledged that federal funding can be used to try to achieve an end, a goal. Theirs is diversity. Mine is freedom of speech. It's not my test. It's having those debates. We'll put forward a policy that works and that sends the signal that, especially on university campuses, the universities were founded to have those debates, to challenge orthodoxy, to have different points of view. And certainly we should agree that if there's one place in Canada, maybe after Parliament, it should be our university campuses, where nobody should be afraid of holding points of view or engaging in debates on things. So we'll put forward a detailed proposal that speaks to how it'll work, but I think it's a fundamental principle that all Canadians can agree in, that freedom of speech must be protected.
On abortion, on gay marriage, your political adversaries are saying the right is back in your party. What would you say to anyone who wants to reopen that debate in your party? Well, under my leadership, a new Conservative government will not reopen this debate. A crucial theme of my candidacy was unity, and I'm going to ask my team to put forward legislation, policies that will bring our caucus and our members together, not divide them.
15% between Mr. Lemieux and Mr. Trost on the first ballot. They seem to flock to you after Mr. Trost fell off the ballot. So, I mean, what's your message to both them, who want some of these debates reopened, and Canadians who don't? What are you going to do on these issues?
Every kind of Conservative needs to have a home in our party and feel welcomed. Every kind of Conservative played an important role in this leadership race. We had Libertarian Conservatives, obviously, have a very significant say in this leadership race. We had social Conservatives, yes, but we also had fiscal Conservatives, foreign policy Conservatives, democratic reform Conservatives. Each and every kind of Conservative plays an important role. The leader's job is to pick the common ground between all those different types of Conservatives. There's some aspects of issues that will divide our caucus and divide our movement, and that doesn't enjoy widespread support in the general public. But there are other areas, like protecting freedom of speech, like cutting taxes for family, like protecting conscience rights for medical practitioners. Those are all things that the entire Conservative movement can get behind.
Did you receive a call from Mr. Harper? Did he call you to congratulate you? No, I haven't received any calls. I don't have my telephone. My wife has it. I hope that I'll be able to speak with Mr. Harper in the next few days, and also with Ms. Ambrose. I had a good discussion with Rona, and we talked about what we're going to do on Monday. There are many people who can give me their ideas about what we're going to do next. The dairy producers in Quebec, do you think they contributed to your victory? Well, you only have to look at the results from Quebec, and I believe that this was an issue that helped me. Our party decided to support supply management. Our members travelled to Vancouver, and they voted there to continue our support for supply management, not only in Quebec, but also in BC, in areas of Ontario, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick as well. I got support from people who joined our party, but also people who joined our party not to protect supply management, but also for other important issues for people in Quebec, outside Quebec, people who don't like deficits, who don't like tax increases, don't like the carbon tax as well. Lots of reasons, but that was a very important issue for us.
Well, it's an interesting question. I think the fact that it was this close, I believe it had an impact. When you see the margin, that close. Maxime ran a very competitive campaign. He had put forward some innovative ideas that he sold very passionately. It came down to a very small number of votes in some key areas that I haven't done a deep dive in the results. But I like to think that last night's speech, for those people who voted in person today, either at a polling location or here in Toronto, hopefully it might have made the difference.
Did the pro-life vote play a role in your victory? Well, as I've said, all types of Conservatives play a very important role in our party. It's just not one group of Conservatives that decided the results of the race. There are different types of Conservatives involved in our party. People who believe in democratic reform, Conservatives who believe in a strong foreign policy based on principles. My message of unity is that the Conservative Party must be a party for all types of Conservatives, and I think it's a message that resonated with our members.
Or even sex selection abortion, something like that. Would you let them, not government sanctioned, but would you let members have their say?
I know this is of tremendous interest in the media. You like to focus on this, I know. But as I've said from the beginning of my campaign, it's very important that and when I was Speaker of the House of Commons, I upheld the principle that individual members of Parliament have the right to speak out on issues for things that they believe in. That's a fundamental principle of our party. That has been a fundamental principle of our party for a very long time. My job as leader is to encourage my team to focus on the areas that bring us together, the common ground between the different kinds of Conservatives. So I'm not going to put myself in a binary box that you might want me to be in. My job will be to say, look, what aspects of these issues that different kinds of Conservatives feel very passionately about can we all come together on, work together on, and win on?
Where do you stand on C-16, the transgender rights bill?
I voted against it.
So you would still vote against it? Would you repeal it if it becomes law?
Look, I don't deal with hypotheticals. It's before the Senate right now. I believe so fundamentally in freedom of speech and in the in the way that sometimes the left can be in the name of tolerance becomes intolerant itself of difference of opinions and conversations about certain aspects. So, we'll see what happens. I've got time to meet with my caucus and develop a strategy and positions on all these things in the months and years to come.
You will be a continuity candidate. You'll be following on in the footsteps of Mr. Harper. Now, how do you think that the same type of policies can actually get you better results at the next election? Well, I believe very strongly in the idea that Canadians share Conservative principles and values on taxes, on deficits, on foreign policy. They share our positions on these issues. Our party must have a leader who's able to express our Conservative values in a more positive fashion, who can resonate with a larger audience of Canadians. Now, you've been said to be the unity candidate. Do you accept that label? I'm a smiling Stephen Harper. Would you accept that description? Well, Mr. Harper's record. Well, look, Canada got through the world recession and came out of it very strong. We balanced the budget, we cut taxes, our foreign policy was very, very robust, it was principle-based. All Canadians, or many Canadians, share our principles in those areas. For me, the challenge now, and the thing that I'll be working very, very hard on, is to express our positions in a way to resonate with a larger audience of Canadians.
But what would a Conservative climate change plan look like?
You know, it frustrates me when we allow the Liberals to say, well, it's either a carbon tax or nothing. You know, we've had a lot of great success in improving our environment, whether it's the Conservative Party raised the standards for wastewater and then helped municipalities meet those standards. We brought in new regulations to reduce emissions. We were very successful along the way. The carbon tax is neither revenue neutral, nor does it have a significant effect on reducing emissions. So I'm not just opposed to the carbon tax. I will defend the rights of provinces to fight back against the imposition of a Liberal carbon tax on provinces that don't want to impose it on their people. So thanks very much. Thanks very much. I got it right.